Please, Argentina, just stop crying already. Come on, seriously. Stop making a complete fool of yourself trying to organize these massive protests just to replay a match that is done and dusted, or to keep spreading crazy rumors that Spain somehow stole the trophy. That Spain had it all rigged. Spain with the presidents, Spain with FIFA, seriously. Enough is enough. So we are looking at this channel we follow and always drop a massive like on, and I think it is finally time to figure out why they are still kind of embarrassing themselves like this on the world stage. Let us jump right in. Let us go. They just love humiliating themselves. Because just today, believe it or not, they were actually out there marching in the streets. And for what? To demand a replay of the World Cup final against Spain. No, I am not even joking here. There is actually an online petition that thousands have started signing for this exact same reason, claiming the referee was totally bought out to cheat Argentina and help Spain win. It is just ridiculous. I am sorry, but it is absolutely, completely ridiculous. They watched a totally different game than millions of other citizens of this planet saw. And honestly, it makes you think. Millions and millions of regular people on this earth apparently do not have working eyesight. It is completely mind-blowing, but on the other side of things, millions of signatures are also piling up from over 170 countries, all demanding that Argentina be kicked out of the World Cup entirely, and out of FIFA. I mean, this is pure madness, and I am genuinely amazed at how incredibly creative these fans are when it comes to finding brand new ways to embarrass themselves. Honestly, I look at it the exact same way. The level of sheer creativity a person can show while pulling off something like this, with the kind of spectacle they are showing the world, is really just a textbook example of self-humiliation. I mean, if you think about it, there is absolutely no logic or reason behind it. Unbelievable. Completely bizarre. Honestly, I would love to discuss other topics, but there is always some new surprise from Argentina. This totally bizarre initiative has started popping up, and honestly, it just makes me laugh. Unbelievable. They actually launched an online petition to replay the whole World Cup final, and all because they claim the referee was bribed. It is so embarrassing that they claim he was bribed. What? Well, we should also point out that many of these fans seriously believe Spain used voodoo on them, saying they felt some really weird energies. That is just deeply embarrassing for anyone to admit. Yes, the exact referee who disallowed 2 of Spain's goals was apparently bribed. This petition is just completely mind-blowing. They must have watched an entirely different match than the hundreds of millions of people across the globe saw. And the count is already over 80,000 signatures. But let us be honest, those 80,000 signatures are from people who do not have a single brain cell. That is just the simple truth. Because seriously, how can you waste your time trying to collect signatures for this when you could be gathering signatures to donate food to people, for example? Instead, you are signing to replay a game. It is honestly shocking that anyone could even think this way. Absolutely ridiculous. But it does not even stop there. Some of these fans actually started calling for a massive protest to happen today, right at the famous Buenos Aires Obelisco, and all to pressure FIFA into replaying the World Cup final. They claim the cup was stolen and refuse to accept it. It is scheduled for today, Friday, July 24th, at 5 p.m. Argentina time. Thousands of people are expected to gather at the Buenos Aires Obelisco. Not the entire country, of course, but a massive group. And their goal? To force FIFA to replay the World Cup final. Yes, you heard that right. Replaying the final. Spain won the match, but a very vocal group in Argentina simply cannot accept it. The rally cry is spreading on TikTok. They are telling everyone to demand a replay because it was a total robbery. The slogan of the protest is, "Football belongs to us." And honestly, the message that is going viral is even more intense than that. We will not stay silent. If you feel this injustice, show up. Bring your flags and your anger. They say FIFA needs to give them an answer. But now, here is the really interesting part. Wait, hold on. Just stop for a second. So, by that exact same logic, since they claim Spain stole the win and that they need a replay to fight this injustice, why do we not also replay FIFA President Gianni Infantino's reaction when Spain scored their goal? What is he even doing there? Should we not talk about replaying that moment too? Because apparently Infantino, who is the actual president of FIFA, did not seem happy at all when Spain scored that goal. And then, what about all of those massive celebratory fireworks? Since these fans lack any common sense, those fireworks were literally for Argentina. What do we actually want here? Wait, let me get this straight. What exactly do you expect to replay after that absolute robbery Spain pulled on you? Even the Argentine players themselves are stepping up to say it. There was no conspiracy, no dirty fix. Spain was just better, period. The losers admitted defeat. Yet online, the crowd is chasing a completely different story. And then, right on cue, Miley enters the chat. You all saw this, right? The Argentine president dragged himself into the mud to back his team, claiming all this global backlash is just because people are jealous. Seriously, what a total joke. Wait, jealousy? Here we go again with this exact same nonsense. Jealous of what exactly? What is there to even be envious of? Let's be real, almost all the toxic blowback heading Argentina's way was brought on by a massive portion of their own fan base. Obviously not everyone. I have Argentine friends who reached out to congratulate me, admitting they just completely lost their heads. Jealousy? Envy of what? It is just so absurd that the literal leader of the nation, the voice of the people, is the one pushing this toxic narrative. He is brainwashing them, feeding them this garbage, and they are just blindly falling in line like a flock of sheep, following a leader who is completely out of his mind. With the president himself feeding this victim mentality, we will have to wait and see what happens at the Obelisco this afternoon. We'll find out if all this loud internet outrage actually translates to real crowds in the streets, or if it is just a tiny, pathetic turnout. This guy is completely deaf to reality. I mean, it is just mind-blowing, honestly. They are actually acting worse than the Ecuadorians. Though, to be fair, the Ecuadorians also started claiming there was no official protest, even while they were passing around petitions for everyone to sign. They are demanding a rematch against Mexico, even though Mexico absolutely destroyed Ecuador on the pitch and left them with nothing. Supposedly, they want a replay because of rumors that Mexican cartels threatened the Ecuadorian players, and a ton of gullible people fell for it. Anyway, here is today's petition. There is a march scheduled for July 24th, calling everyone to the monument at 5 p.m. to protest the final. That chaotic match between Spain and Argentina. It wasn't just a match, it was so much more than soccer. Ref decisions silenced us, biased plays cost us, but the truth always comes out. Okay, to be fair, whoever wrote that manifesto actually makes a decent point. They have a right to feel that way. It really was not just a match. It felt like something much bigger than soccer. There were bad calls that silenced the team, moments that totally set them up to fail, but the truth eventually comes out. Wait, hold on. I think I am getting confused. You're right, but isn't that actually aimed at Spain? Like, the ref and the Argentine team were the ones holding Spain back, right? Or am I totally misreading this entire situation? Or is this a protest put together by Argentina? Man, I am completely lost. We do not ask for favors, we demand real experts. The Malvinas belong to Argentina, because we do not forget, and we will not stay silent. What on earth do the Malvinas have to do with a soccer match? But whatever they say, their history, flag, and dignity are not up for negotiation. Bring your flag and wear your national team jersey. Sure, go ahead and wear a Spanish national team jersey, my friend. United, we will never be defeated. Yeah, right. You know what the absolute saddest part of all this is? People keep talking about Argentina being this open, free, and highly liberal country. But if I had actually showed up to that protest today, minding my own business, and decided to wear, without disrespecting a single soul, a Spanish national team jersey, what do you honestly think would have happened to me? I would have been attacked, pelted with trash, and beaten to the ground by a mob. That is the harsh, ugly reality of it. They preach about living in a free, sovereign land, but the moment you try to dress how you want, all that freedom vanishes. Instead, you have to blindly follow the pack. You have to fit in, blend in, and become exactly like them just to feel safe and accepted. If you dare to think differently, they will absolutely come for you. It doesn't matter if you are Spanish, Argentine, or Mexican, they are going to assault you regardless. So it's completely ridiculous to expect me to join a march when I don't even have the basic freedom to say what is on my mind, express my true feelings, or simply wear whatever clothes I want to wear. So, what actually happened? Let's check out the live stream of the Obelisco. Right now, look. There is absolutely nobody out there. Not a single flag waving, and not a soul wearing a team jersey in sight. I do see a lone police cruiser parked nearby, probably just in case things get rowdy at the Obelisco, but there is absolutely nothing. It is already 10 p.m. over in Argentina right now. As I record this, there is still nobody. Let's rewind the feed to see if anyone showed up earlier. It was supposed to start around 7 p.m. Wait, no, what time was it? 5 p.m. Let's jump back to 5 in the afternoon. Okay, here we go. Here we are. Over 80,000 signatures are on this. If they do not show, it is ridiculous, they just ruin their own cause. It shows right up here at the top 5 p.m. Well, okay, maybe they aren't, so let's look around here for a second. Yes, I do see a bit of a crowd gathering. I can't deny there are people down in the bottom right. Maybe it's just the usual street traffic, though. There are always lots of people around, right? Let's see. We have to start with the fact that this is a highly popular, crowded area, which naturally explains why people are walking around. But honestly, I don't see a real rally happening here. I don't see any flags waving or banners flying anywhere. No, I just don't see it. Let's skip ahead a bit. 5:10 and then 5:16 p.m. Wait, I did spot a single waving flag around 5:30 p.m. They say those are Argentine fans, but I didn't see very many. Now it's 6 p.m., a whole hour later. There still aren't any massive crowds. Honestly, I didn't see much. It really doesn't look like this protest made a big impact. But look, while talking about petitions, another incredibly bizarre thing happened. Another petition started circulating online, and this one was to ban Argentina from the World Cup entirely, from all future tournaments. Keep in mind that other petition got around 80 to 100,000 signatures. But this petition to ban Argentina from future World Cups went viral, nearly shattering a Guinness World Record. What did the petition say? The petition itself laid out a very clear headline, Argentina out. It went on to explain exactly why they should be disqualified, starting with an alleged match-fixing scandal during a previous game played against Egypt. Yes, they also pointed to an alleged excessive number of penalty kicks awarded to the Argentine squad during recent international tournaments. Then, serious fouls on the field were ignored by referees, directly benefiting the Argentine players. The document also cited formal complaints about racist behavior from sections of the Argentine fanbase, along with a supposed investigation launched by United States security agencies. Specifically, they claimed the FBI was investigating financial matters linked to the AFA in America. Look, let me tell you something. If there really is solid, official documentation backing up all these claims, I honestly don't think it would look good to kick the reigning world champions out of the tournament. But if all these accusations are true, it is definitely true that I would ban certain individual players myself, simply because they completely lack the respect and class required to play this game. Obviously, you can't blame the entire squad. They are a remarkably talented team, but looking at what unfolded, compared to other teams, it is just depressing. It is depressing to see. That is why I was actually quite happy with what Spain did to them, making them suffer on the pitch. But this petition is on a whole different level. Just to be clear, this was before the final. It started during the week leading up to the final. Their goal was to reach 5 million signatures. We should make that clear. That explains why the 5 million figure is right here on the screen. But they ended up getting over 23 million signatures. That is absolutely insane. I mean, it is just totally mind-blowing. 23,316,000 signatures. That is just massive. I am completely blown away by this. It is so wild that it even caught the creators of the petition completely off guard. More than 23 million people from 170 countries signed in 1 week. Mind-blowing. The organizers stated that FIFA ignored them, but Spain ultimately delivered. I absolutely love that line. FIFA ignored us, but Spain delivered. Let's go, Spain. Now, something unexpected happened to this petition. The organizers closed it down, which is why it says petition closed right here. They officially wrapped it up after Spain secured their victory, leaving behind this monstrous final number. With a total that massive, it was literally on the verge of breaking the Guinness World Record for online petitions. So, who actually holds the Guinness record for online signatures? According to RT, the current record stands at 24,319,000 signatures. Established back in 1997 by the massive Jubilee 2000 movement, this campaign demanded the cancellation of unpayable debts for the poorest nations by the decade's end. Funny thing is, that is the actual Guinness World Record, sitting at 24.3 million signatures. Man, if they had only gathered a single million. Honestly, I truly believe if they had not shut it down so early, it would have easily shattered that old record. Usually, there is a set 1-week window for collecting these names, and this Argentine petition stood just 1 million short. 23.3 million signatures make it the second most signed petition in human history. Mind-blowing. Let me repeat that because it is vital. It is the second most signed petition in history, and the absolute only reason it did not break the ultimate world record is because the organizers decided to shut it down. Of course, especially after the World Cup and everything that broke loose right after, right? With that massive, incredibly ugly wave of Argentine racism directed at so many other countries across the globe, I can personally guarantee those signature numbers would have easily doubled by now. I did not sign it because I did not care. but if it were open right now, I would sign immediately. We are practically begging the organizers to open it up again, because without a single doubt, it could easily hit 50 million signatures in no time. Oh, absolutely. Think about it all, that intense anger from football fans who felt FIFA was completely favoring Argentina throughout the entire tournament. That fury is absolutely nothing compared to the massive anger directed at Argentines today, especially after all those racist slurs and attitudes displayed after they lost. Man, it is just brutal. Absolutely brutal. Look, there is a lot of truth in what he is saying. If they had not done what they did, and let us emphasize, we are not talking about every single citizen here, because some people love taking this whole thing way too personally. It would be totally unfair to paint an entire nation with the same brush, and I refuse to do that because it would be highly hypocritical. Personally, I have close friends who are Argentines, and I care about them deeply. That is just the honest truth. But we cannot deny that the individuals who chose to act in such a deeply racist manner against multiple countries totally deserve the massive wave of backlash. I completely understand why so much intense anger has been directed toward Argentina lately. The truth is, a large group actively brought that hostility on themselves, walking around like they are superior to everyone else. They completely blew it. They messed up big time. And these specific people, especially considering the arrogant way they used to talk to everyone else, should at least have the basic decency to step forward and issue a public apology. That would actually help clean up their tarnished image and show that, despite all the intense frustration or whatever excuse they use, they still possess some values. Since they refuse, it is clear they have no integrity at all. But this whole situation is honestly unbelievable. We are witnessing the total destruction of a massive brand. I do not mean the actual country itself, but definitely their global football brand, starting with the massive legacy of Lionel Messi as the most important player in the entire history of soccer. The entire Argentine brand, once widely seen as one of the absolute greatest and most dominant soccer teams of our modern era, has been completely ruined, completely destroyed, and let us be honest, they absolutely brought this entire disaster on themselves. The fact is, they behaved terribly. We have to call it out. They acted incredibly poorly, and that is precisely why a once great brand lies in absolute ruins today. Obviously, Argentines themselves are going to keep buying their national jerseys and those Messi shirts, but I can guarantee you that outside of their borders, absolutely nobody wants an Argentina jersey anymore, let alone a Messi one. Nobody wants them. People are actually buying the Mexico shirt a lot lately, but definitely not Messi's. There are plenty of other modern icons like Haaland or Cristiano. There are other options, but people are done with Messi. Today, several Argentine YouTubers spoke out. Actually, they are influencers who traveled all the way to Spain for the massive Velada boxing event. One of those creators is a guy named Geronimo Momo Benavides, who is a massive streamer over there. Now that he is in Spain, he decided to share some of his thoughts regarding this alleged anti-Argentine campaign, because these guys still cannot accept the simple truth that there is no conspiracy against them. Honestly, they are just being completely foolish, and they desperately need some self-reflection. But anyway, that is exactly what they said. It was a message I felt was too important to ignore. I know that right now there is this massive narrative claiming we Argentines are all racists, and they call it a campaign. But no, they actually are. But he wants you to believe Argentina is the least racist country on the planet. He claims they throw open their borders to absolutely anyone in desperate need, completely disregarding their nationality or where they originally came from. For example, many Spanish citizens have relocated to Argentina, gaining full access to free public health care just like any local. The streamer hopes they never need help, but if they ever do, the country is ready. Argentina will always keep its doors wide open for any Spanish citizen who might need a helping hand. Honestly, I fail to understand why any Spanish citizen would ever travel all the way to Argentina for medical treatment or university, considering Spain already provides amazing free public health care and incredibly cheap, top-tier higher education right in their own backyard. Look at us. Yeah, sure. Personally, after hearing what he just said, which is basically the same point Momo, the Argentine, is making, the whole problem is that these comments are only used to defend a point. And honestly, as an Argentine myself, I feel like I should have been the one saying it. I apologize. Spain won fair and square, and those racist insults from my countrymen were completely uncalled for. But I really believe the actual message these influencers are trying to push is all about the Falkland Islands. That is the only thing I see. Nothing else makes sense. I have watched this closely, and it is the only logical conclusion. Now, I am obviously not saying that every single one of them is racist. That is clear. It is completely obvious that not everyone acts the same way. In fact, many people have actually stepped up to admit that what Argentina did was dead wrong, which is incredibly honorable. But beyond that, I just do not buy their underlying message. It feels like a scripted speech specifically manufactured to bring up the whole Falklands conflict. That is the only thing, and I do not want to. Look, we are not here to talk about politics or anything like that. We are here to talk about what happened and how terribly some people behaved. I believe those individuals should have the decency to step forward and issue a public apology. If they had the courage to hurl insults in public, they should have the decency to apologize in public too. But since we all know they will not do it, and they probably never will, we are stuck dealing with the exact same old song and dance. It is a repetitive message claiming that the Falkland Islands belong to Argentina. Nobody even mentioned the Falklands, but they went ahead and dragged politics right into sports anyway. Personally, I do not think that kind of political message belongs here, but apparently, that is just how they play it. This endless soccer drama is not actually about the sport anymore. It is pure politics. I honestly do not see it any other way. Look, I understand when you say that not everyone is racist. That is obvious. Unfortunately, there is racism everywhere, and nobody can deny that reality. But when it comes to their message, it just feels like a rehearsed speech. I just cannot get behind it. It feels completely hollow because of the way they are delivering it. Now, if you actually spoke to me with real sincerity and emotion, then sure, I would agree with you. And look, I get that not everyone acts the same way, but I just do not see it happening here. I see this as a scripted speech built entirely around the Falklands conflict. I do not know what you guys think about it. Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this whole situation is getting wilder by the day. Hey, since you are here, go ahead and subscribe for more.